Hey guys, it's only Monday, but we're going to talk Taco Tuesday and Wedding Wednesday. It's part one of Tom and Katie's wedding on Vanderpump Rules after show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Come on, ride the train and ride it. Woo, woo. Shout out to the train rolling through Tom and Katie's wedding ceremony.
So good. So shady.
I guess we'll have to wait till next week to see if it does roll by during the actual ceremony. Hopefully not.
I feel like we've independently used a bunch of 90s songs on our intros. I'm really feeling it. I'm a big 90s fan.
No one did
been
it better
loving-
than the 90s.
Agreed.
Well,
Oh, same.
I had this cassette single.
Jesse, were you even born when this song came out?
I feel like I sang lyrics to this several weeks ago.
Lyrics,
Yeah.
using that real, it's like, there's 5 words.
Choo choo.
When
Oh my
shout out to
God.
Mika Antonio, wanna ride this train.
Oh, you're right.
Didn't I?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
See?
It's the breakdown.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
You stand corrected.
Well, on the train theme, we're already off the rails, kids. Hi, it's Megan Stecher again with the fabulous Vanderpump Rules panel. Introduce yourself, doll.
Hey guys, Jesse DAngelo here. You can find me on all social media at Jesse J DAngelo.
Hey guys, it's Jay Ellis. I'm on Instagram at don't_be_jealous and Twitter at still_jealous and at the caboose. Yeah, just came to me.
I am Matthew Evan Paine, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Matthew E. Paine.
I'm really proud of it. I'm happy.
Back to the conductor.
Who's gonna take us off the rails?
Oh my. I don't
I'm
even...
glad it's hot in here, though.
Oh,
so
it's
that's
so
good.
warm.
I am
I am
sweating.
on fire.
We need a super cut of every time we say, and it's really hot in here, because it's every week
If you
consistent.
could see what's going on underneath this man's shirt that I'm wearing, it's just like drips just flowing down my body.
Megan, can I ask, what color lipstick are you wearing? Because I want the
Okay,
people
this
to know.
is for the people who ask every week. Right now I'm wearing Sephora's cream lip stain,
Yes,
shade 13.
it's gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
I get
Shade
why they like
13.
it. And it looks
Oh.
better in person, people, so go buy it.
Steadier than you.
Oh, God, we should be getting paid by Sephora.
Right?
Thanks, guys. Reviews are coming in there.
I get these alerts, and it's like, Megan, love your lips. What color? And I'm like, who cares?
Oh, I do.
The fans.
Shade
That's me.
13, Matthew. Shade 13.
Speaking of shade.
I wish it. Thank you, James.
James
Thank
in
you,
the
James
booth.
in the booth. It's at Jimbo in the booth if you guys want to follow him on Twitter.
He's great.
It is so hot. I'm dying. Okay. Taco Tuesday and Wedding Wednesday.
Let's get into it.
Katie says she loves her destination wedding that she and Tom have planned.
Okay.
You're not allowed to call it that.
You're in the same state.
I was just gonna say you're still in the same state,
Yeah, I said
But
playing
California's big.
right? But they're not at some Caribbean resort.
California's big.
I
And so
would
isn't
say-
feminism. So
a little. Yeah.
I'm sorry. A destination wedding to me is like you have to fly across a body of water
Yeah.
to get there.
Like
Yeah.
Thailand or something.
Like Hawaii.
Just like that, Jay.
Caribbean.
They just packed up their cake and drove 8 hours.
Okay,
That cake on dry ice.
I did say they were playing a little fast and loose with the term destination. Like,
Yeah.
Tonight's gonna be when I can feel it.
we're already on it. It's happening.
I feel like we've all had an edible, just like Katie had to have. Is that a good sign if you had to eat an edible the day before your wedding and you're like, I'm so calm, everything's coming together. I had an edible.
I mean, if it works for
This this will, I think, be a compliment, but I don't think Katie, no matter if anything was in her system, I think she's been pretty level-headed about the decisions being made and stuff this whole process. I haven't really seen like a Bridezilla moment, anything that's been
No.
terror, or maybe we just it was taken out, but I just haven't seen anything from her that's made me stressed out for their wedding.
No, it's been pretty low key.
you. Absolutely not. They took her to Alterations Express and she rolled with it.
If there was going to be a fight, that would have been it.
That would have been the plan.
Yeah.
No, but I completely agree.
Yeah.
Jimbo in the booth. Can we get some air, please?
If at all possible.
They both have jackets on. You guys can take those off.
It's part of the...
Hey, no, never mind.
You don't want to know what's
Ensemble.
going on.
Yeah, yeah, boning in there. You got to keep it in.
So Katie and Tom are pretty chill. Everything's rolling along as scheduled. We are not rolling along as special. Scheana mentions. Oh my.
The jacket is covering my boning, and I can't take it off. It's part of the look.
Jesse, I'm so hot just looking at you.
I am sweating, but I'm trying not to say it, and I feel like it's hot.
I'm crying as much as Swerch was right now.
I need to be where Shay was, just in front of the fan with a bunch of pillows on me.
It's like a social experiment of who's gonna crack in this room first.
I wonder if we have any listeners. Hang on. Oh, and by the way, if you are listening live, feel free to join us in the chat. We'll get to it.
Send us a fan.
And for the audio listeners, thanks for bearing with us.
We haven't talked about anything yet.
Okay. Oh god, I'm so hot.
Okay, but yeah, and we're back.
Okay. So Scheana says, this is just sober us up. Scheana says that Shay is off. Who did she say that to? I don't even remember. I just wrote it down that she said Shay is off right now.
Ariana?
I don't remember.
Hold on, give me a second. I do remember this conversation. I
Was
don't remember.
Was it to Lisa Vanderpump? No, because at the end
was
she said
later.
everything's great. I don't remember who she said it to. Was it just to camera?
Oh, in her interview?
Was it just to interview? Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Okay. So he's off. I don't know what's going on. Okay, then everyone... Oh my god, we need to get it together.
Yeah.
Then everyone goes, quote, tubing. Now, I heard there was a little discussion as to what really constitutes tubing. Okay, was it Jesse? You were like, that's not tubing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, as someone who, I mean, my dad lived on a lake, and so did my uncle next to each other. So I grew up tubing.
All right, silver spoons.
And
Real pro.
floating in a raft does not tubing make.
Okay, because I have had some friends go, quote, tubing, and it was just floating down a river with
Oh,
a
maybe I'm
beer on. Well, I thought growing up, tubing was when you're getting pulled by a boat with a rope. Yeah.
That's exactly what that is.
I think I have a different definition then. What they were doing, it's called like the river regatta, and you kind of float down, you get beers. It's kind of meant more as like a
Yeah.
calm. I think
Like
that's
lazy, I would call it like lazy river.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think tubing is you could verb it in any way that you want. But I liked this idea. It was kind of a fun like bonding thing for like the whole wedding party to go and do. I enjoyed it.
Reminded me of Drive Me Crazy. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
They all went tubing.
Melissa Joan Hart.
They had all their rafts tied
Adrian
together.
Grenier was first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun. I think that's a fun activity that you have the forest and the water must have been warm enough for them to be in
Yeah.
because I think forest and I think cold water anyway. But it looked like it was a fun little thing to do.
Do you know what I love that was definitely happening? It happens every time you try to do this. The water gets so shallow that you then like scrape your ass bone over a rock.
Sure, yeah.
And then it's so shallow you have to get out and walk.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Schwartz ended up in a rock bed. It looked like.
Oh, in the
He was like,
pink
"Ugh."
flamingo.
Yeah.
His tube of choice, the pink flamingo.
Yeah. Been there.
What did we all think of the Coors Light inserted commercial?
So much of a tie-in.
This episode brought to you by Coors Light and Squarespace.
And
Like,
they all had to pretend to be so excited about Coors Light. And I'm like, oh my God, really?
We almost had that same excitement of when Katie came out.
Coors Light. Oh, you know what? Too, they did in addition to the Coors, they did a lot of product dropping though too. Get 5 handles of Tito's was also in there.
I think that was just Kristen.
Fireball.
Yeah.
Like that was just a preference of Kristen, like Tito's.
But are they
Okay.
allowed to say it unless they're?
And Fireball. Well, they didn't show the bottles, I don't think.
Yeah. I think Coors was definitely like a sponsor though,
I
because it was
agree.
like, I have 50, how else am I going to get 50 boxes of Coors?
Right to camera.
They
Yeah.
were like Tom.
Guys,
Like
yeah,
he had a
no.
long flight. They're like Tom.
As he comes in late with like his Coors. So I was like, we see who's sponsoring this trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Which is fine. Maybe for the wedding they did get sponsors, because I've heard that people do that, like they brand their wedding to make it cheaper. So maybe that's like an affordable way to have beer.
Scheana did that. I
Oh,
don't
did she?
remember
Well,
all the
Dylan's.
specific, other than the Dylan's
Yeah, you get
candy.
free promotion, so from a company standpoint, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So Sandoval shows up late because supposedly he left his suit at home. I'm having a hard time believing that. Anyway.
Well, what do you think happened?
I just think he was packing too late and
Yeah.
just running late in general.
Yeah, he said he's missed a few flights, so I think it's always been that, like, gotta
Yeah.
throw last minute things in.
I have a friend who loves being late for the airport. Like, she cannot force herself to, like,
She gets off on it.
be be packed and leave on time.
I love
it's
when
like
they're
too
calling
much
the
for
gate.
her.
That's when I'm walking in.
She's got to be like, she literally she did this with me one time. We were both late because of her to the airport. And she goes up to where you get a wheelchair and she's like, I need a wheelchair immediately. I need to be wheeled to my gate immediately. Please hurry. I'm going to miss my flight. And the person with the wheelchair was like, y'all should have got here earlier, man. Like, they were not having her. They were like, we've seen your type before, ma'am.
And where was that person from?
This was
Thank you.
we were in Atlanta, flying back to Philadelphia. We would have gotten that sass in either city.
Okay.
Believe you me.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right. Wedding rehearsal. All I could think of when I saw the lay of the land there was that it looked like the scene from Twilight when we're seeing like Kristen Stewart's character look out over like the night before the wedding and she's like, oh, this is really happening.
Gorgeous scene.
I thought it was beautiful, and then the train rolls through.
Come on.
That's my
They
train.
got some really beautiful shots of the train, though, and the scenery.
Well, they crossed the train tracks to get to the tubing, and it looked very like Walking Dead all of a sudden, like they were the survivors hopping through like the apocalypse. But it's a cool setup if the train wasn't going there. Like tracks always
Right.
look good for pictures.
Oh. Oh, really?
Thanks, Jay.
It's forced perspective.
No, I thought,
Hashtag forest perspective.
Oh, forest perspective. Is that
I
what you
kind
said?
of
Is that what we
thought-
said? No.
I was like,
Mono
I
tonight.
kind of thought, oh, I get it. Katie was going for like Twilight vibes, and I liked it. And then the train.
As soon as those
shattered
words left your
my-
mouth, it was like, the train comes by.
Yeah, I like outdoor weddings personally. Like I prefer going to those, and I thought that this like scene was very pretty.
And she's marrying hashtag Team Edward.
She is.
Team Edward
He is
all the way.
beautiful. Tom Schwartz.
I'd go with Team Taylor Lautner. Who is he? Jacob?
Yeah.
Jacob.
Never saw it, believe it or not.
Me
Are you
neither.
serious?
No.
Yeah, no interest.
Oh. Seen them about all 5 of them at least 100 times.
No interest.
Movie night with us then.
I could not understand for the life of me why Lisa and Katie had to whisper to each other what Lisa's lines were going to be.
Because Tom and Ken were just a couple tables over.
But why can't Tom hear what his own wedding is going to be sounding like?
I think
If
it was.
Katie's
I
gonna
think it
hear
was
it, yeah.
audio, so they weren't interfering with the other conversation.
Okay.
It's just what I.
It was so confusing.
I mean, pull them back
I know.
5 more chairs.
Yeah, bring them to the train tracks.
Like, grab a producer to move Ken and Tom over elsewhere.
Yeah.
Ken probably got sat there and they had to stick. You know.
Okay, true. Let's move Katie and Lisa.
He's not moving. Setting up camp and I'm staying there.
It's hard. It's hard to get him comfortable in his chair, as we've seen.
Lisa.
Okay. And then we see everyone arrive for rehearsal. The outfits were on a wide spectrum, I would say, as to what everyone thought was appropriate to wear for rehearsal dinner. I thought Ariana nailed it. I thought she looked great.
Always.
Always.
Killed it.
Tom and Ariana.
Yeah.
I feel like he's synchronizing their outfits. Like he's
Everyone
at
just
home
looked-
laying
For
them
sure.
out.
Everyone just looked like their best selves.
Sewing them.
Yeah.
You know what
Oh,
I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone was in like a slick suit. Everyone was like their best selves in this.
Peter looks great.
so.
Like he stuck out to me too. And
Yeah.
Stephanie, I think that was her name, the bridesmaid, had on like a very beautiful. I had such a reaction to her.
She looked like a
want more.
supermodel.
She did look like a supermodel.
And you said that we've seen her before, but I don't recall. Or you said that we've seen her.
I was wrong.
Oh.
I don't know. There was a different girl
Mm-hmm.
who's not been really introduced to us so much, but was at all the other bridesmaid stuff.
Okay.
But it's not Stephanie.
Right. So, but the wedding party, like what we saw in New Orleans, I thought that was the wedding party.
Right.
But I saw a couple of different people who I hadn't
Additional.
seen before.
Yeah.
A guy for sure.
Tonight.
Tonight in the wedding party, like walking, there was a guy paired up with,
Yes.
I want to say Kristen or Scheana.
Yeah.
No,
The one
Scheana was with
paired up
Ariana.
with Kristen. Yeah.
Oh, it's,
Yeah. And then there was like 2 girls that I didn't recognize. So it's like rounded out the whole wedding party.
Yeah.
probably just couldn't afford 2 trips. If they're both destination trips,
Get-
you know.
Yeah.
No, I'm being dead serious. Like if I, you know,
Yeah, I
can't
get
fly
it.
up to, you know,
New Orleans.
Northern California.
yeah,
Yeah.
can't fly to NoCal,
Yeah.
Southwest.
Okay, so then we're on to the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah.
And Stassi wants to say, like, oh my God, can we just take a minute to, like, I can't believe it. We're never going to have two friends get married again. They're marrying each other. Which reminded her of the whole 7 years she's known the two of them.
That was the
and
best.
we got an epic montage.
Vanderpump Rules knows how to give a montage.
It was the best.
These editors are just dragging them, and it's so
As soon as she
funny.
said that, they were probably like, "Oh, jackpot."
They tinted it purple and they're like, let's go. Like,
They were
we
like,
know.
the worst of the worst. We already have them marked. We already have time codes marked.
Do you know what's great though is I don't know Stassi, but I feel like Stassi appreciated that montage being used right after she said that.
Oh, I feel
Like,
like
I bet she was
laugh
just
at
like,
that.
oh, this is like the drink at Palm Springs, and then like,
Right.
oh, it's just so good.
She was probably like,
I'm sorry, Vegas.
She was like, I've always been the queen of this show, and this just proves it.
Yeah. It was
Those
so
were the
great.
good old days, though. There were some really good clips in there.
Whew, season
Flash is a-
1, bringing back season 1.
Frank, where are you? Unsung hero of season 1.
Woo.
And that chunky sweater? Come on.
That chunky sweater will live in infamy.
Love it.
Did you hear about the chunky sweater? Did you
That
see
it got
on-
framed by
Yes.
Jax's manager. How
Awesome, isn't it?
Funny.
So yes, I guess she did hear about it.
Nostalgia.
That's the news. Yeah.
News you can use. Then Stassi proceeds to tell her mother, who is pestering her about her dating life,
What was that? That made me.
that on a first date, a man went down on her 7 times, and she cried 2 of them.
She not only said that, she said, "I cried 2 of the times that I came."
It's true.
Very upsetting.
Preach. He's a keeper.
This is just not ever something I would ever say to my parents or any family member for that matter.
That's their dynamic, though. Like, look at their family. Like, we talked about this a couple weeks ago,
That's
how
true.
that's just how, like, if they had a spin-off,
Right.
it would have been, like
her
a great...
her mom acts like a sister, not...
Yeah, she's a cool mom. Happy hours from 4 to 6 kind of gal.
Yeah,
You know?
she's not like a regular mom.
She'd rather you do it in front of her.
Yeah. Don't drink in the house. Or drink in the house. Yeah.
Why do you want a little bit? 'Cause if you're gonna drink it, rather do it in the house.
And I appreciate, like, an honest family like that. I love when families are so open, because it's just, you don't see it very often.
Are any
True.
of you guys like that? Not your parents, because I wouldn't talk about that with my parents, but siblings or otherwise. Are you guys close like that with any family members?
Yeah.
Not that kind of talk.
Not that kind of talk. I'm very close with my family, and we talk about a lot. But I would never say that to a family
I would
member.
only talk to single girlfriends of mine about, like, if that was going on.
Yeah, my family doesn't talk to me like that, but I talk to them like that. They don't like it. They're like, cut it out.
Really, James?
Oh yeah, they're like, please, like, calm it down. But I'm like, whatever. This, like, I have this sexual, like, I'm fine with who I am. Like, you should be too.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
what?
sick.
Sick if you don't.
I'm gonna stamp an "it's sick" on that one.
Do what you want to do. But
I'm kidding. So I didn't write down very much tonight. Let me know if I'm skipping over anything.
there's just like a
Not
lot
a
of lead
lot
up.
happened.
Right.
True.
So we get to the triplets have arrived. They make
Do you
a
have their names?
rescheduled flight.
Please. Oh, think about your notes. Bert.
All I have written,
Bert,
guys.
Billy, and Brandon. Triple
Bert,
B.
Billy, and Brandon.
Right.
How Kardashian.
And they're all
I
spelled
love
with
it.
B's.
But do you think Billy's actually William?
I don't.
No.
Oh, isn't Tom's middle name William? Isn't he T.W.
I don't
Schwa
know
on
Stalker.
Twitter?
Oh, you're
I
right.
don't know Stalker.
No, it's just
Ugh. That's a bit much. Isn't his,
Thomas
Isn't his
William
social security
Schwartz.
like 851 224?
Matthew's been. What would it sound
And why
like
are
if
you-
I were
Matthew, why are you-
Mr. Matthew Schwartz?
Matthew, why are you still on Alterations Express?
Okay. Okay.
back to
so
Bert, Billy and Brandon.
Yeah.
Matthew had some inside info that it was not Tom Sandoval taking care of the clothing for these gentlemen. Production's wardrobe department, who I'm sure is paid well, hooks that up. Now,
Just
are
a
you
theory.
just saying that?
That's a theory.
Okay.
I've worked in production. I worked on a show that I mentioned to you earlier.
Yeah.
And they would set up dates,
Right.
and the lead would say, "I've set up some really wonderful dates, tonight for the girls," and they don't.
Right.
They don't actually set up the date. It's the producers who set up the date, and
Right.
and location managers and an entire team that takes care of all of that. So my feeling when Tom is saying I've dressed these three and I've provided I can't imagine. I mean, it would be really nice if he did, but I just can't imagine that he really provided furnishings for three men from top to bottom.
I'm trying to remember the scene. Was it like, hey guys, I have these suits for you, or was it like his montage where he was just like, I have all this extra crap. You can
He
wear
said,
stuff.
I've dressed Billy, Burton, Brandon.
Right.
Bert.
He said.
Oh, it is Bird.
He said not only for rehearsal dinner but also the wedding.
Yeah, he was
I've
like,
got
they don't have
different
belts
outfits.
and they don't have this and they don't have that. It's just my theory. I mean, Tom Sandoval
I
very
believe
well
that.
could be so generous that he did provide clothing and accessories for all of them. But to me, that just seems like the producers want them to look good on camera, and we're like, let's go shopping for these three.
I believe if anybody was going to do it, it would have been Sandoval.
I think that
Yeah,
was
for
the
sure.
best bet.
Yeah.
The most believable, so they're like,
Or
Yeah.
Stassi, just because she's like the fashionista.
I don't think she had as much stake in this, though. I feel like Sandoval really wanted it to be a moment, and like, we're at where they arrive, right? Because they were kind of getting him dressed up and ready for it.
Yeah.
That moment was so great for me, like them revealing them to Tom Schwartz. I loved it.
I loved it too.
Me too.
I got choked up.
heartwarming.
I think you did too.
I did.
Yeah.
I think because of how hard Schwartz was crying.
Yeah.
Like he was so touched, and I think he's such a sweet person that it just made me tear up.
Yep.
I do love on reality shows when you see people who are not so familiar with cameras, how they're just like looking like at the camera, like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, like, and you can see Billy, Bert, or Brandon, I don't know which one it was just like he was tearing up. He's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to like acknowledge this, or like, it's just like like you
Right.
could tell that's a real like
Yeah.
moment. I like
Yeah.
that.
It was great.
I wish we had found out more about these triplets. We found out nothing.
You're telling me I wanted them.
Are an enigma wrapped in a riddle and cash.
And cash. There were a lot of people on social media that were like, give the boys their own show. Like, we weren't the only ones saying that.
Oh,
Everyone
okay.
had the same, shared that sentiment. So
I'm happy we got them though. Like,
even for
What a
Randall.
mystery. I can't wait to go and watch What Happens Live and see if like the callers coming in are like, what is this with these triplets? Tell us everything, Tom.
yeah.
Need more.
I'm excited to watch it tonight. Watch What Happens Live.
They didn't look like identical though. Because
Your face when you said that was so like stern. It was like
I'm gonna watch it.
it was like the fierceness of Miranda Priestley.
I'm looking forward to watching this.
Exactly.
That's all.
Florals for spring.
How novel. They didn't look identical to me though. I feel like I could have told them apart.
Well, I mean, I think that's the best part of identical twins is when there's just a little bit different that you can tell. Like right away when
Yeah.
Tom saw the first one and he said their name, I was like, oh good, he knows his brothers apart.
Well, I would hope so.
I grew up across like my backyard backed up to their backyard, a family who their youngest kids were
Unlike the triplets?
No, they were identical girls.
Oh.
And I could never tell them apart
I went to school with
the
them.
whole time we were growing up.
Yeah.
No, couldn't tell them apart. Lisa and Lori.
Lisa and Lori, shout out to you girls.
Yeah.
Hey girls. Okay.
Hey girls.
Hey gals.
During all the fun rehearsal dinner heart-to-hearts that everyone was having, Shay didn't feel well. He went to go lay down in bed.
Yeah.
Is this when the fan was on?
This was a weird scene.
Is he still saying his skin doesn't feel well? Because she said something about, he said
The fan, the cold air is helping his skin, which we heard that in New Orleans, that his skin was hurting.
right. She was trying to assert that he got sun poisoning
Yeah.
from getting too much sun. And
But what are the pillows, like the pillow coffin? What is that?
Okay, yeah, because if you need the breeze,
The pillows
cover
would
it.
be on the floor.
well, they don't, I
Yeah.
don't believe there was any air conditioning at the venue where they were staying. So I understand needing a fan if it's the
Yeah.
middle of July.
That place
I'm
looked
following.
like it was hot and sticky inside,
It
didn't
did.
it?
It looked hot and sticky to me.
Can you imagine being the cameraman who's like ordered to go film Shay with pillows?
like, come on.
You're like tiptoeing. in.
Stassi and Lisa are having a conversation. Can I get that one? I don't want to go film Shay with pillows on him.
I actually, you know what? I bet they're
They're
probably the happiest. He's like, I can sit in one spot
Yeah.
while this guy just like
He's like, I'll just put
buries
a
himself
chair
in pillow. Yeah.
in the corner. It's dark and cool in here.
Can you imagine though, just being like, "Oh, you putting on pillows? You want to talk about your process? Like, what's going on?"
Mike Bowman in the chat room said Shay tried to smother himself in pillows and gave up.
That's not nice.
Bit much, Mike?
I sometimes lay a pillow on my chest. I don't know what it is. I think it's a weird thing. Like, I think they make like heavy blankets for this now. It's like a weird comfort thing to some people to have like a weight on your chest.
No, I
Okay,
get that, but he
couch.
had one on his head too.
Well, maybe it was
looks
for the light.
uncomfortable.
Because it looked like there was still a light on in the room, but he was trying to maybe block the light.
Was it
Maybe he knew
midday?
they were filming.
Throw a t-shirt over your eyes. Like, this is just a mystery we're not going to crack.
It
an eye
is.
mask.
It is. We're not going to know what's going on here.
1 hour's Amazon shipping. Get an eye mask. Drone drops it off and you call it a night.
Michelle D in the chat says Scheana talking about her happy marriage is hella awkward.
It wasn't awkward. I just felt really bad for her.
Well, he's obviously being super nasty to her and they're filming it. So I don't get why when Lisa's like, how's everything going? She didn't use that opportunity to say, I don't know, something's off with Shay. He's doing great as far as recovery. I'm just not sure why he's spending so much time without me.
Especially when we've seen Scheana be so open with Lisa specifically about what's
Yes.
going on.
Always.
Because my first instinct was, oh, Scheana wants to protect. You know when you're lying to maybe yourself and even others, like, everything's going great. I'm not drowning. I'm not having, like, any issues. But then you're putting on a front. But I feel like if anybody she was going to open up with, because I think since season 1, her and Lisa have actually had a very genuine relationship.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So it was weird to see that front, because I would have thought that she'd be like, well, he's at the studio a lot or something.
Yeah.
Maybe just because now it seems more of a reality than ever that things might actually be done between them. Because one thing, maybe when his like drug problem, maybe she didn't see it as something that would end them. So it's like, let me talk about it. And now maybe it's hitting her that this might be the end. So she's like, deny it and then it's not real kind of a thing. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Gotta be tough.
Yeah.
I know. It made me sad. Lisa then talks with Stassi about the time that she had left the show. And I think it was kind of, Lisa was trying to say a lot of stuff by saying one blanket statement.
I agree.
I felt like she was
It
kind
was
of
so
trying.
loaded.
Yeah, she was kind of trying to reference like, remember when you were bad at me over the Frank video? Remember when you just decided you were too good for the show and left? And I thought it was about more than just one thing.
It reminded me of the conversation that she had with Lala last week, where it's just very like read between the lines of what she's saying.
I don't need this scene to happen again.
I actually loved it.
Did you?
Because I don't think we've seen her be nice to Stassi since before their fallout.
But do you notice that it started out not very nice?
I don't remember the opening line.
I don't either, but I felt like she was digging at her.
It was a classic Lisa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, nothing
and
ever
then
starts out...
softened it at the very end.
Yeah. Nothing starts out innocent and nice.
I almost feel, I don't know her from Housewives, but I feel like if Lisa kind of is very quick to read a conversation and she will adjust herself very quickly to be like, oh, you're not going to be mad at me, so I'm going to be the maternal one now. Like, she'll flip the script real quick.
Oh, okay.
So with this one, you're right. I don't think she was getting that reaction out of Stassi, like a defensive Stassi. She was getting a more of like, well, I apologize. And then she goes, then it's very brave of you to say that you're making a mistake. Like, instead of her being like, Stassi, you should have just apologized. Like, because I think she
Right.
could have gone either way with that.
You're right.
I feel like you could read it on Stassi's face, though, because I think when Lisa was digging at Stassi, I felt like Stassi had a look on her face like,
Here it
go
goes.
F yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't want to have this conversation on camera with you.
Yep.
Here we go
Here we go
again.
again.
Yeah.
But then I do believe that she was touched by that it turned out to be kind words.
I do feel like they are all kind of intimidated by Lisa, and that even Stassi, as ballsy as she is, gets very intimidated by Lisa. So I think that's why it looked like she was holding back tears. It's like she didn't want to fall into a puddle and be like, I am relieved that you're kind of forgiving me here.
Since I joined the panel this season, I don't know how you guys feel, but they flash back to when Lisa was really trying to make Stassi talk to Jax at SUR. And that was so like Lisa being a producer of the show and not being a pal. Like, she's like, you're not the girl who runs away, you talk. And I'm like, you're just trying to set her up for an issue like, you want a show right now. That wasn't having Stassi's best interest in mind.
And Stassi knew that, I'm sure.
Oh, she was so smart. She's like, I'm not doing this. I remember her being
literally
like,
walked off the show then,
I was
right?
so proud of her. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite Stassi looks of the entire run
She
of the
looked
series.
beautiful. When they flashed back to that, I was like, ooh.
Yeah, that red lip, done.
Tight hair and a red lip.
Yep.
Yeah. Shade number 13.
Julia in the chat room says she thinks Stassi deep down hurt Lisa.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe Lisa was like, damn it, you were the breakout star of my show.
Yep.
we couldn't have given you a bigger platform when you became this big star, and then you thought you were too cool for school.
I mean, I don't think Lisa would be her. Maybe, but I think maybe more so because of the whole sex tape thing. Because none of that was filmed, so for her to pay him and everything, that was something that Lisa did personally to help her. But then again, I think, well, maybe it's for the greater good, like, of the show, so then I go there too. And
It sounds like
Lisa knows what she's doing.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump on you.
No, it's okay, I'm
It
done.
sounds like Lisa's bruised ego, though, a bit more than hurt feelings to me.
I think she's kind of trying to do a job of making the audience sympathetic to her.
That's what
Yeah.
I never doubt that Lisa has the best intentions in mind, whether it's for her show or for other people, because I think she really does care for these people. Like, she's giving Katie opportunities, as we've seen this season, whether it's true or not about personal assistant. Next week we're going to see that she's setting up the Toms for like a business venture. So I think she really does genuinely care about everybody. I'm not saying that, but I think that Lisa has the show in the forefront of her mind. She's a producer first and then a boss.
Boss lady. Hashtag boss lady.
Hashtag girl boss.
Girl boss. Yeah.
Lady boss. Lisa then talks to Scheana. So Lisa's just kind of making her way around the party, having these important conversations with everyone. She talks to Scheana about Shay. Scheana says they're amazing and they got their spark back. That part is when I was like, shady. Like, she's like, I'm so excited to see him, and like I get the butterflies and kissing's like the first time again. And then I thought, okay, are we going too far here? I would say, I do see it that you guys are great again, or things are better because he's sober. But the spark back thing sounded like it was something she was throwing in to make everything just gloss over.
Yeah, that was uncomfortable. Again, I just felt bad. Because I'm like, we know that's not true.
Yeah.
But maybe because she wasn't seeing him as frequently, so maybe it's just like when you do see that person, it's like a veteran
You
who
get
goes
so
away.
excited,
You're
yeah.
like, oh, you're back.
Like absence makes the heart go fonder. Yeah, that's true too. Like when they're away and you're desperately missing them, and then you get so excited.
And maybe that's where she really was at that point. Like, you go to a wedding and kind of remember your wedding, so maybe she was
Yeah.
getting like those feels again, and
Yeah, all the fuzzies,
Yeah.
warm fuzzies.
Right.
Matthew, anybody talking in there?
No, Julia, though, Julia said, I just lost it. I think she's been faking happiness for a while, referring to Scheana.
Yeah. It seems like something's been going on and brewing, but Scheana didn't bring it to camera this year. It was like too harsh in private. So,
Which has to be
knows?
hard when you're so public and...
right, I feel like she's always willing to share everything, so that had to be really tough. She shared with Ariana saying, like, I can't tell these other girls what's going on. They'd use it against me.
Did the pinata seem like a real flop? Like,
Yeah.
they didn't
yeah.
He was like,
blindfold anyone.
Bubba, and then like ripped the stick out of her hand and then beat it down in one hit.
Hit one hit and it just broke in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all that
no one
Dylan's
dove,
candy. Right.
No one dove for the candy.
It's like, yeah, there it is.
Damn it. I remember one pinata at a certain Halloween party when I was in my youth. The kids, everybody dove in so crazy for the candy that someone got a concussion.
Oh,
No
Oh,
way.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
that kid loved a Kit Kat. Like, they were
It
going
was a
in.
girl. I felt so bad.
Oh,
That's when you know the pinata goes over well, when someone sustains a serious injury.
Yeah.
get that door.
Now, young man, what happened? I just wanted a Kit Kat in my hand.
I will give them credit. This seems like a really fun theme for a rehearsal dinner.
Yeah.
It just kind of felt weird to me being out in the woods, like the whole cabin in the woods thing.
Captain.
Like Taco Tuesday seemed
But put yourself there, like a warm night, margaritas,
true.
Taco
Summertime.
Tuesday.
Take me there.
Okay, true.
We're here. You hear the train, the roaring river.
The sweet
see
chimes
it.
of the train.
Yeah, I feel like I love Taco Tuesday anyway, like just in general. So I would have been so happy with this.
Taco
Same.
any day. I mean,
Same. They closed the Mexican place in my neighborhood, and I
Really?
am devastated.
Yeah,
I've suffered a
Megan,
loss
I'm
like
sorry.
that too.
Merrick's Tex-Mex de la
Oh.
Playa.
There's one in West Hollywood if you ever want to go.
Well, R.I.P. the Playa one.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll miss
They
it.
shut down. Wow. Okay.
Sad. Well, they're already making it into a different restaurant.
All
We'll
right.
see.
Keep it
We'll
Taco
see.
Tuesday. Yeah, I like the theme though. I think it'd be a fun time.
I think people in the chat room were just as bored with tonight's episode because for minutes they've been talking about Jiggy.
Oh! Jiggy's appearance in this episode?
Yeah.
How his little tail looked like it was losing fur
Is Ji-
again?
People wanting to know if he has a contract for Vanderpump Rules as well because they see him more in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yeah, they're really going on about it. Is Jiggy still alive?
Jiggy's over.
I feel like he's taxidermied and he's just been drug around this whole time.
This is how much I watch Housewives, and my poor boyfriend waltzes in and out of the room while I'm watching it. He saw me watching Watch What Happens Live, and it was clips where it was Harrison, and Max going, "Oh, that dog got really big and fluffy," and then I go, "Oh, no, it's not the same one." And then he sees Jiggy, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, that one.
There
Okay."
it is.
Like,
Yeah.
peripherally, he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
He's a fan.
He's paying
God
attention.
bless him.
Yeah.
I used to force him to watch Real Housewives of New Jersey, and when it was Real Caddy and Real Sopranos, he would watch it with me.
It was good.
It was his
Yeah,
idea to
going to
watch.
go.
He's like, should we start Real Housewives?
Yeah.
He's like, I popped the popcorn. Are you ready?
It's going to be just as big as it was back then. Danielle's coming back.
Yes.
And
so
Kim D
excited.
apparently has a son involved with someone in the mob because did you hear this story?
I don't know anything about how. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, it's so good. So Grant and I talk about this on his Grant's Rants episode that we taped
excited.
yesterday. That is out on iTunes now. Kim D's car was found.
Oh, I saw it on Twitter.
Oh, okay. It was either Saturday or Sunday with 2 dead bodies in it. They were executed right through the head, and then the car was set on fire. And I know.
I didn't know who she was, but
No,
yeah.
this is like real life. I was like, I'm sorry. Is this like The Godfather? What is happening?
Is she okay?
She's fine. And it was suspected that her son's friend has something to do with it. It was actually the son's car, but I don't know if Kim bought it. It was registered in her name. And then the son let a friend drive him to the airport and like hasn't been seen since. And his family can't get a hold of him.
Wow.
So
Do we think this was a Bravo stunt for the new season? Okay.
We need like a
Stop
missing
it.
Richard Simmons style thing on this going on.
It would be epic.
Can you imagine? I did see that news, but I didn't know who she was because I don't
That
know
is
Housewives.
crazy.
We need to get you into one of them.
All right, work on it.
Okay.
Tell me which one. Actually, a lot of people said Beverly Hills is a great one
I
to
almost
start
said
with.
Beverly Hills.
Yeah, Brandon, who he's so good at messaging me with Scheana news and
Romano.
stuff. Brandon Romano.
Hey, Brandon,
yeah,
shout
he's so
out.
good. He always gives me like tidbits. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. He's like, Housewives Beverly Hills is the best one, or a fun one to go into.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was
And Lisa's
great
there,
in
so
the
it would be
beginning.
great for me because I know Vanderpump, and I feel
Of all time, of all of them that I've watched, New York has my heart.
okay.
I mean, they are just the most. Although I
They
heard
were-
Atlanta is epic right now.
Yeah, I have never been into Atlanta until the past few weeks. It is.
I know, we're on the
so
Can I remind you
We're on a downward spiral of Bravo. Well, that's because
feel like Ken now. Where are we?
tonight's episode was just not that exciting.
It's just a lead up. I think it's kind of like
Yeah. The crescendo will be next week for the finale. Lisa and Katie actually also have a little convo too. Katie's not done her vows.
And they're not whispering this time.
And they're not whispering this time.
I don't think that's that
Common.
Here's what I want to say.
Thank you.
Neither Katie nor Tom are done their vows. Is it a sign that there are...
You don't think it's uncommon
Not
that
really
they don't
into
have them
it.
done yet?
Yeah.
I mean,
Really? I don't
would be
know.
on it.
I feel like I'd be done with it, but I think that people save it. Speak from the
Really?
heart. I don't know, like if they want to just really get there.
I feel like guys rarely are prepared. They want to like riff it at the altar, like off the cuff.
Yeah.
And the girls are like version 4, typed up,
Yeah.
final draft.
Yeah.
Like,
He was so unprepared though; it made me uncomfortable with the
right,
in the room
exactly.
with the fly or
Like,
whatever.
all of the comments he's made all season long about like not really wanting to get married, but just doing this for Katie. It made me. It was all flashing back to me. I had my own mental montage while he was like, "Are these socks okay? Like dirty, faded socks for the gym."
Was it tinted purple in your head when you saw it?
I mean, he came together beautifully. Can we talk about how handsome he looked? I have never.
Green has never looked so damn good.
I had the lady feels for him.
Oh, I had the boy feels.
Yeah, I had the lady feels too.
He was so handsome. That green was everything.
It's
It was
He's
such
so
a nice
handsome.
touch.
I mean,
It-
we just have to say it every episode.
He's so
Tom
hot.
Schwartz, you're so handsome.
He looked amazing. Oh my god.
he really could have worn any color, but I think that green in the forest setting was just like it was.
It was
It was like
perfection.
bellissimo.
Perfection. My favorite was his little throwaway line when he's jogging to get to the wedding and he's like, I don't even have the rings. I wonder who I should ask about them. Who
Yeah.
has those?
And again, Ariana, like we see kind of the difference between. I'm sorry, we're the guys in the cabin getting kind of ready. Jack's dictating the guys around.
Sure. Okay. Post fishing. Post Tom taking a dip in the river.
Jax's line of this is his last time going fishing. what? As a single man, what is that? Like, is
Like,
that a
is that a
momentous
thing?
occasion?
Right.
I didn't understand that.
It was a weird
I think
line.
it was them trying to make
Be
an
funny.
event of killing time.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, he said he would do something else different, but
I wouldn't want to go fishing right before the wedding.
neither would I.
Why?
I never want to go fishing.
No,
so.
I'd rather be eating turkey
Before
sandwiches
anything.
with the bride.
Can we just another a hand for the editors with all of the penis jokes that Tom and Tom were telling each other?
Yeah. And poking each other with rods. Like there's a
Exactly.
trousers.
Like, oh, don't worry, Tom's used to handling a big rod.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of the pinata 19 minutes ago,
Thanks,
did you
Jimbo.
see when they were like humping the pinata?
I did. I
Tom
did.
loves to hump
man's sweaty.
anything.
But Jax was doing it too. They were like taking turns like
I
humping.
feel like they could make a really long
always-
montage of everything they've humped.
Yeah.
They could.
Like Schwartz's face. Remember when they grabbed
Stop
his
right
face
there,
and
I'm good.
humped it? They sandwich humped his face.
Yes.
Gross.
I do.
They should go 25 episodes and just do a whole friggin' 45 minutes of them just humping
fest.
crap.
You know what would be amazing? A bonus episode of just the montages.
Vanderpump.
We could call it the Vanderpump episode.
You're on, you're on
Hashtag
fire
hump
tonight,
rules.
Jay.
I'm feeling it.
You're so punny
I'm in
tonight.
the zone.
You're like sparkling. You're like, I know,
Listening
I've
with
got it.
puns, I'm happy. Ariana getting herself ready. She didn't have a makeup artist. She didn't have a hair person, and she looked amazing.
I'm wondering if she did get her hair done by the people that were doing all the bridesmaids' hair before she came over.
But
to
she
hang
kind
out
of
with the
showed it.
guys.
She showed it off as if she had done it. She's like, check out the
Oh.
back too. Maybe she did
Oh.
have somebody do it, and we just. But she like sat in front of a mirror. Like
Okay.
I've had girlfriends that I've gone places with, and they like sit themselves in front of a mirror, and that's like the position for I'm gonna get my makeup ready.
Yeah.
She didn't have a makeup person.
No, she didn't.
I'll ask her.
I know
friends.
that Katie's also actually really good at doing like the eloquent braids on people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Katie did. Maybe not.
I don't. Would Katie really have time to be doing that right now?
I don't know. She was sitting around a lot while everyone else was getting ready.
True.
Because it's like there's a couple hair and makeup people and then a lot of bridesmaids
The
and the
reason
bride.
the reason why I think Ariana did her own was because I don't think she ever left the room because we saw her in that cabin the entire time.
Oh, okay.
That's just me putting my own
Okay.
spin on it.
Lisa ironed her dress and we had to make a big deal out of that. And she hasn't done it since 1986.
Stop taking a piss. Things aren't going well for me right now.
Where's Rosia? I thought for sure that iron was going to be too hot and she was going to iron a hole into that delicate
That
netting.
lacy, yeah, that lacy number.
All right, let's get into Lisa's outfit.
Oh boy.
My vibes, Maleficent.
It was harsh.
I want to say Stevie Nicks.
You said it.
A little The Craft.
Hints of
You
Elvira.
said it, paused it, and said it again.
Hints of Elvira for me too.
You know what would have softened it for me was if her hair wasn't so severe up. Like
Yes.
if it was a down or something, I think that it
Yes.
really would have played that dress better.
Yes,
It was
just
dark on dark on darker and dark.
Yes.
You know what I think she thought? I think she thought, I've seen Katie's dress. I've heard about where the wedding is. I went on the venue's website. I'm going to go Lisa style boho. And for her, it was like a Stevie Nicks translation.
Choices.
And maybe because like ministers or people normally wear black, maybe that's why she went like that. But I thought she should have stuck to something a little bit more like that would have popped in the forest.
Yeah.
Just a personal preference. Because she wears a lot of purples, pinks, like
Yeah.
a nice, beautiful dress in that would have looked really
I
gorgeous in the
think
forest.
a purple would have been gorgeous.
Very
yeah.
creamy. Yeah, I would have liked that. Delicious.
Our fashion director this week.
I really don't have an opinion on fashion, but it just looked very severe. That's all. That's a
did.
word I want to say.
It
I'm
was
gonna say
so
it.
a departure from what we've seen her wear. Like she wore like at Scheana's wedding, her boobs were all like exposed and pushed up, and it was like a very like Versace safety pin dress looking number.
Yeah.
And this was a departure for me.
People were saying it looked like Charmed. Someone said it looked like American Horror Story Coven.
That was
Oh,
It did.
this is a
It read.
thing.
It read kind of witch.
This tracks, you guys. People, this is a thing. It read kind of witch.
We have someone
Hocus pocus, maybe.
someone in the chat room saying who wore the bridesmaids dress the best.
Oh, I know we discussed this last week. Who do we think? I thought Stassi looked great. Kristen,
think they all looked pretty,
like Kristen
really.
has a nice
Yeah.
thin leg sticking out of that slit.
I was on Stassi's
Mm-hmm.
Twitter earlier, and there was a beautiful picture of Katie and Kristen looked stunning in that dress.
Yeah.
I think she
Yeah.
kind of took it for me.
The dress looked different than it did last week, didn't it?
Maybe because of alterations expressed
No,
fine
but
work.
even the color looks
Alert.
different.
Oh,
Didn't
it did? Well, it might.
Wasn't it like a blue?
It might be the fact that we saw the dresses indoors and then now this is in bright sunlight, so it's playing different on the camera.
Yeah, it's still like a soft lavender, lilac.
Yes.
Is it?
It's still a soft lilac.
It's still
Satin.
soft
lavender
lilac. Maybe that's why Lisa didn't go purple, was because the bridesmaid dresses were like that beautiful
Jay
lilac.
Vanderpump.
Our
That would have tied it in so
Our
nicely.
good friend Amy Phillips over on Sirius Radio, also of Bravo, she and her guest had a lot to say about the bridesmaid dresses and the shoes as well. And I was like, okay, we're not alone in not being like the biggest fans. Like Katie's dress was $15,000, and the girls' bridesmaid dresses were from David's Bridal. So I feel like the high-low of it was a big stretch, which made the dresses look cheaper to me.
The bridesmaids' dresses looked much better in the actual setting than in the alteration room.
True.
I think
true.
they moved well. I liked them better moving.
They were sexy.
Yeah. I saw a cute picture Scheana posted of her and Ariana today, like walking down the aisle together,
Oh,
and it
so
was
cute,
like
wasn't
it
it?
looked
Loved it.
adorable.
Yeah,
It was
loved that.
the cutest. I now want to wear a tux to
Yeah.
my sister's wedding as the maid of honor instead of a dress.
I think you'd rock
I
it.
loved
I
it.
think you should.
My sister will never allow it, but I would love to.
Yeah.
Just do it anyway.
Well,
Start
there's
a little
one
fire.
other bridesmaid, the groom's sister. So
Take her out.
Draco said that he thinks the dresses were like a dove gray.
I see like
It's
a very
hard.
like, you know,
we'll have to go on
Soft,
the David's
dark
Bridal
gray.
website and get a swatch.
like a creamy
Okay.
ivory.
Katie's bouquet was revealed as well. It was a
It
collection
looked
of
like-
brooches.
Oh, okay. It was brooches. I was
Yeah.
just going to say it looked like brooches.
Oh, it really?
I
was?
liked
It looked like a piece a costume piece that you would put on. Do you know what I'm saying?
Put on who though?
Like on a woman in like a movie like Florence Foster Jenkins. You would like
Oh,
put it on.
okay. But no, I really liked the touch of the the guys, instead of wearing boutonnieres, wore brooches. I thought that was a great touch as well.
No interest in seeing that, Flores. Glad we broached this topic.
the Oscar nominated.
The movie about a woman dying of chlamydia.
Oh, is that what it's about?
Yeah.
I thought it was a bad singer, but here we are.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it's like a.
That's
Did
layer
not
two.
get that from the trailer.
This is Act 3.
That's all the notes I have. So let's just riff on.
Well,
the
we didn't
last
talk
couple
about
minutes
Katie's
here.
dress and the reveal where like Stassi was losing her
Oh.
mind.
Let's, because we've been talking about this for weeks.
I'll start. I really liked the dress. I do. I think that Katie, it fit her. I think that she should have stuck with like that long sleeve. I loved it. I thought that the pattern was cool, but I really wish we saw like the original look, and it was a sheer kind of bottom half. Which, if you showed that leg, it would have been, I think, really nice instead of having that nude insert leg.
I felt like there was just something about the fitting. Like it either wasn't pulled in tight enough right under the arms or like the waist. It just like she didn't have much shape in it,
Yeah.
which I think probably was it's kind of a throwback to like Gatsby-ish era and like drop waist and stuff, so it wouldn't have been super tiny waist, but it just needed like a little something pulled in somewhere for me.
Now, is that where the boning comes into play? Because
So,
what is boning?
I mean, we're like,
sure.
so boning is like, it's usually like plastic or metal rods, and anytime I've worn a dress with boning, it's been in the top portion, and it's almost corset-like in that it's like really sucking you in.
It's meant to
and
give you a shape.
making, and it's giving shape to the fabric too. So if you have something like a satin, it's like it's making the satin like stand up.
Here's a question for maybe Matthew can answer this one. Do you normally do like a final fitting after they would have put boning in? Is that weird
Right?
that she
No,
didn't?
I think
I'm
it's
joking,
weird
but-
that she
Oh,
didn't.
I was like, I don't know.
No, I think it's weird that she's like, oh, they said they were putting boning in, but I haven't, like, how did you not try the dress on again?
Like priority one, I think, would be that the
Yeah.
dress make sure it fits like a charm,
Right.
like
I
a
didn't
glove,
get it.
like a glove.
She did I don't know if it was with People. She did like a magazine article when she went shopping for the dress, and you know, it became a spread in a magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's online on people.com, or I'm not sure which magazine it was. But
What did you think of the dress? You didn't? Have you said anything?
I haven't commented.
Do you want to?
Not particularly.
Okay.
Yep. Draco B in the chat room said, shouldn't the nude insert match her skin tone?
Oh,
Yeah.
that might have. I wonder if the
that what
top
you were talking
half.
about, the sheer-
But I wonder if
Mm-hmm.
the top half nude insert was way more tan than her skin tone. so they had to match the bottom.
This is kind of what I was seeing with Stassi's jumpsuit. Was that last week when we saw her in that photo shoot where they kind of inlaid it with like a nude? So it's a sheen.
Yeah.
It just kind of gives the illusion of like in pictures. I bet in photos it's gonna look fantastic because it looks like skin, but it's very gorgeous. But I don't know. What are you guys doing?
No, sorry.
Oh, we were just
This is
looking
the
at
last
comments.
comment.
Oh, okay.
Natalie R in the chat room says I could do the same wedding for $2,000 from Michael's Fabrics, a resale from the secondhand store, and us getting hair and makeup done at the mall. Plus, we could go to a public park for free.
Oh.
How you feeling, Natalie?
Shade.
Natalie said earlier after her comment,
Natalie
she goes,
was-
"I'm going to hell."
Natalie
that-
was
I say
not
that once a
impressed
day.
with this wedding.
Yeah.
Well, to each their own.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see the final wedding, the vows. I'm excited
The
for.
season finale.
Can I say a blanket statement that
Please.
I don't think we're gonna have like normally Vanderpump ends on kind of resolution like the last 10 minutes, but we have a fight like a blowout that we're all coming back from. I don't think we're gonna have like a feud or a fight this
I
season.
had the same thought. I agree.
like I mean,
Yeah.
Scheana and Shay is kind of the only really big drama that we're having.
She looked really heated. Well,
We'll see.
distraught? Well, I don't know what the word is.
Which maybe, and when we were watching the previews for next week, everyone kept being like Jay, you were like, oh, pickups. So maybe they didn't see like a good ending as like we're used to. So they were like, we gotta get some stuff on the Shay and Scheana
Yeah.
thing,
And
so we have something to end it on.
Yeah, and I think we all are getting the feeling that the Shay and Scheana stuff is like a lot of pickups had to be filmed because this was all kind of not happening on camera,
Right.
unraveling, so.
And Scheana has said herself that the show is real, but it's produced. So if they know of a moment, they'll kind of work it into a schedule so that they can say, let's put this on camera so we can show people. So really, they might have said, this is the reality of the situation. We didn't get on camera. We need you guys to act this out again.
Yeah.
And I feel like Sheena's been saying for weeks, keep watching. You're
Yeah.
going to see everything unfold by the end of the season with her and Shay. So,
Yeah.
I actually have some insider info, so I'm not going to predict what's happening next week.
ooh.
Because I might know.
Tease.
What were we going to say, Jesse? You had something? No?
I like
Oh,
Tom's.
I was just gonna say Tom said that a few weeks ago too. He said like they try to discourage us from texting so
Yeah.
much when we're filming because they want it to happen naturally versus them having to be like, oh, can you talk about that again?
Yeah.
Can I make one more statement
it.
just about the
Okay.
overall? I know we're getting toward the end of the season. I've had a turnaround on Stassi and Kristen because in the middle of the season I had like a real dip in kind of my perception of them, but I feel like they've kind of been. I like where they are now. I don't know. I feel like I was giving them such like a hard time throughout the season because it was just like it was a harsh edit for them. Like they were
Yeah.
looking very mean toward Lala. I think now that Lala's out of the equation, I've enjoyed watching them more.
Yeah. Like, I liked Tonight for Katie because I feel like she's had such a harsh edit this season, too.
Which, in all honesty, like those moments, you did that, so we watched that happen, and it was something that happened. But it's just like this is kind of more of the people that I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah,
From seasons of yore.
of yesteryear.
Yes.
Ooh, we are over time, so we're going to have to
okay.
go.
All right.
But super excited for the finale next week. I'm predicting I'm going to cry.
I'm more excited for the reunion episodes
Okay.
than the finale.
Fire.
It'll be great.
Yes, because Lala's
It's gonna be a
coming.
good one. I feel it. Yeah. 'cause Lala's here.
All right, Jay, where can they keep the conversation going?
Guys, so I just started RuPaul's Drag Race. That's going to be happening on Sunday, so watch me on AfterBuzz on that if you have any interest in drag queens. And then on Instagram at don't_be_jealous and Twitter at still_jealous.
And you can find me every Sunday at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Days of Our Lives After Show Edition Days. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Matthew E. Payne.
Jesse DAngelo here, guys. You can catch me on Tuesday nights at 8 doing the after show for MTV Stranded with $1 Million. And you can find me everywhere on social media at Jesse J. DAngelo.
And you guys can follow me on social media everywhere at Megan Stecher. Check me out on Grant's Rant's latest podcast on iTunes. We dish all about every Bravo show possible on that. And stay tuned to my Twitter for a very special announcement in the next week or so. And we'll have a special guest next week that I'm sure everyone who watches this show will be very interested to hear from. Okay, and that's it. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Choo choo.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.